I think that's really the point to that. So
and that's the magic. That's the magic. You said, what's their long-term goal? I find a lot of people, until I meet with them, never actually had that conversation. What is it they actually want?
I think a lot of people, when it comes down to, especially in our finances, they don't have clarity. And if you don't have clarity, you can't have certainty.
Exactly.
Right? And I think this is where it comes down to. A lot of people think, I think a lot of media was always saying, hey, before retirement, you got to know your number, right? I think there were few institutions that were running this. And what does the number mean? Number means nothing, because, you might have a great number the day you retire, and the next day the market goes down, and now what? It doesn't really mean anything. And I think, so what would be the advice for somebody if they were kind of in that old way of thinking, working with, and I'm going to put it, a traditional advisor, and they're like, you know what, now I'm understanding that there is maybe more, there are some things that I don't learn. What would be kind of the first, and again, we're not talking about specific advice, but what would be the advice that you give somebody to start thinking about what they need to be doing?
First of all, they need to be curious and stop being afraid of being sold. That's the number one issue that they're afraid of. They're afraid that if they're going to go talk to somebody, they're going to push some product down their throat, and they're not going to be happy with it. First of all, be curious, ask questions, and don't be afraid. Because when you're afraid, it blocks you from getting the things that you may actually want, but just don't know that they are there.